Hello and welcome back to another one of my F1 chats. My name is Alex Does F1 Stuff and today is episode number 19. Can't believe I've done 19 of these things in like 2 months. It really doesn't feel like 19. But anyway, 19, and today we are going over just 2 articles. It's been a little bit of a slow week. Alonso to Renault is a no-brainer according to Zak Brown of McLaren, and Toto Wolff of Mercedes has outlined his driver selection criteria for 2021. But yeah, like I said literally just now, it's been a little bit of a slow week, to be honest, for news. Ever since the whole driver shake-up with Vettel, Sainz, Ricciardo, etc., it's slowed down a little bit. But I suppose that's a given after having such monumentous changes and news updates in this current lockdown situation. But we will begin with our first article, that Alonso to Renault in 2021 is a no-brainer, says the McLaren boss. So all eyes are on Fernando Alonso to see if he'll secure a return to Formula 1, and McLaren CEO Zak Brown has said this week that signing the two-time champion for 2021 is a no-brainer for rival midfield team Renault. Renault have a seat for 2021 with Daniel Ricciardo joining McLaren as Ferrari-bound Carlos Sainz's replacement, and McLaren boss Brown revealed that he spoke to Alonso last week to find out if he's going to return to the team where he secured his 2 Formula 1 World Championships. Then what does he go on to say? I don't really want to read that because I was about to speak in an American accent then. So Alonso moved to McLaren in 2015 from Ferrari and slumped from 6th in the Drivers' Championship to 17th in that year. What followed was an infuriating few seasons for him as they struggled with the Honda engines, yada yada yada. But whether Fernando wants to get back to 22 races with a car that doesn't look like it's going to be capable of winning yet. Good point. Given Fernando's stature, what would get him to jump out of the seat if he would jump at a seat if he thinks he can be at the top? I don't know if Fernando has the appetite to go on a 3-year journey versus getting in a car he can win in 20. Oh my lordy, bub, Jesus. Okay, apparently I'm just really struggling to talk with that one, so I'm gonna just end the speaking and reading off of a screen right there. Personally, I see Alonso returning to Renault in 2021 as they put a little poll at the end, and I voted yes, along with 51% of a total of 17,492 people. But it's actually a little bit more equal than I imagined. A lot of people don't want him to return, which I can see why. So my personal view is that he probably will return to Renault. However, I really don't think it's right, because like Zak Brown has said, and I've worded very, very poorly, he won't want to jump into a full 22 race season to be struggling in the midfield again, because Renault haven't proven they're on the up. They haven't done anything spectacular. They haven't had any podiums since returning to the sport. They had their chance with a very fluky race in Germany, but Hülkenberg bottled it and chucked it in the wall. So I don't think Alonso would want to join another struggling team. He would have been better off going back to McLaren. Obviously that's just never ever going to happen, but McLaren have at least proved that they're on the up compared to Renault, which aren't really doing anything, and I don't fully understand why. I don't know what's wrong with Renault, but they just haven't done anything really. 2016 and 17 I can kind of rule out as they were clearing the debts from Lotus, so they wouldn't have had a lot of money. But 18 they did well. 18 they were 4th, I think, in the constructors, but 19 they just went backwards. So I don't know what 2020 is going to bring. But overall, yes, I think Alonso will return, but no, I do not think it is the right choice for them. And on to the second and final article of today. Toto Wolff explains Mercedes driver selection criteria as the team looks to 2021. So world champions Mercedes have 2 of the most prized seats on the Formula 1 grid, and both are currently available from 2021 onwards. Boss Toto Wolff explains there are a plethora of factors that come into deciding who will fill them, including personality. It's highly likely that Hamilton will sign a fresh deal with Mercedes, the team with which he's won 5 of the last 6 World Championships, with talks between the British driver and Wolff ongoing. Valtteri Bottas has done a solid job since joining the Silver Arrows in 2017, playing a key role in helping Mercedes continue adding to their haul of consecutive Constructors' Championships. Christ, that was a tongue twister. Mercedes could keep the same lineup for 2021, but they do have options should they want to change things. There are drivers with huge experience and success on the market, such as Sebastian Vettel, who will part ways with Ferrari at the end of the year, and other options like George Russell, the Mercedes junior who's impressed at Williams. So how does Wolff go about making a call? So there is a data side of things, he said in a video interview released by Mercedes. You look at race results, back into the junior formulas, you look at comparisons with teammates and how these teammates compared to other people, and then there is the personality side, which is very important. So how would the driver fit into the team structure? What would the dynamic be with the driver who could be with So all these factors are being, in a way, compounded. We are discussing that in a forum, everyone gives their opinion, and most often everybody in that group has the same opinion. Anyway, while the F1 season remains on hiatus, Wolff says he's had varying levels of communication with his drivers. I very much leave it to them. When there is nothing urgent, I leave it to them to manage the communication. I haven't spoken to Valtteri, I think he's in a good place personally, and I'm happy about that. However, with Lewis, I've been very much in contact and we've spoken regularly on WhatsApp. So actually that title is quite misleading, to be honest. Wolff explains Mercedes driver selection criteria. He just sort of spoke about not a great deal. Yes, he did say personality, you compare teammates, you yada yada yada, but he didn't really say much at all. But again, I don't think there is going to be a huge surprise. I think they will stick with Hamilton and Bottas as they're a solid pair. I can't see them signing Vettel and getting rid of Bottas because Bottas is doing enough. Bottas is doing what he needs to do. He's picking up wins when Hamilton isn't there, apart from Germany. He's consistently second or third or fifth or whatever, doing enough to secure their constructors' titles. So he's there, whereas if you were to choose someone like Vettel, look at the past couple seasons, he's had a few spins, a few mishaps, a few mistakes. Singapore 2017, Britain 2019, Germany, Italy, yada yada yada, the list goes on, Japan, etc. China, okay, admittedly China wasn't his fault when Max ran into him in 18, I think, but there are still just a plethora of incidents which Valtteri hasn't had, apart from Australia qualifying in 2018, Mexico qualifying, was that when he ran into the corner of the Tech Pro, and then biggest one would be Germany. That's really it. He hasn't had those incidents, so he's always been able to be there with Hamilton. Do I think he can overtake Hamilton? No, I don't think so. It took Rosberg 2 seasons to do it, and a whole lot of mental strength, going to see a monk in some mountains for a bit. And even then it was only because Hamilton's engine blew up in Malaysia, otherwise Hamilton would have again walked away with the championship. It's an interesting one, but I do feel they would stay with the same lineup, and then Vettel would just end up leaving, because I feel that is the mindset, that was the view that I'm now getting from all of this, is that Vettel is actually going to end up retiring at the end of this year and not going anywhere, because I can't see him joining Mercedes. I can't see him choosing to go to Renault or anything, or a team lower than Ferrari. He's definitely not going back to Red Bull. They've said no, so I can only see him retiring, to be honest. And as for Russell coming up to Mercedes, I think it's a little bit early, as again Bottas hasn't done anything worthy enough to boot him out of the team, because you're going to replace a good driver with a good driver. Who do you want in the seat? One that you know for the past 3 years has given you the results that you want, compared to someone that, yes, has outqualified his teammate 21 out of 21 times, but his teammate was impaired, he couldn't with his hands and whatnot, and was definitely past his prime, whereas Russell is a up and coming junior. so there's no real surprise there. I don't know, it would be a gamble if they went for Russell over Bottas. Undoubtedly he would perform, but it could cause some turmoil. I'm not sure. But I think that is the end of my short little F1 chat. So all I've got left to do now is thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video with whatever I decide to make. I'll see you then.